Start with continuing coverage as testimony continued this week in the Brad Compher murder trial. Today, testimony focused largely on fingerprinting and DNA evidence. Our Misty Inglet was back in the courtroom and she breaks down today's developments.
On the stand Tuesday in the Brad Compher murder trial was Randy Parker, a certified latent print examiner. In 2010, he was working with Idaho State Police Forensics. He and Dr. Cushman were the forensic scientists who matched a latent print from the door to Norrie's porch with a print from Brad Compher. In court, Parker showed the jury a scar pattern on the latent print that was a match for Compher's right middle finger. Parker did say there was no way to tell when the print was left on the door or how long it had been there. Also on the stand was Rylene Nowlin with the State Forensics Lab. Over the course of the investigation into Norrie's death, Nowlin says the state lab received 131 pieces of evidence to test and analyze. She examined the fingernail clippings from Norrie's autopsy, and Nowlin said she found what she believed to be blood and some sort of fibers, but did not find any, quote, foreign tissue. Nowlin also examined Norrie's sexual assault kit and testified she found no semen, sperm, or other bodily fluid. There were hairs included in the kit, but Nowlin says those would have needed to go to a private lab for testing, and they weren't. She didn't know why. A swab was taken from the handprint on the window that police believe could have been the entry point to Norrie's home. That swab was sent to LabCorp for additional testing. Megan Clement, formerly with LabCorp, next took the stand and explained they tested that swab for DNA and were able to match 11 of 13 characteristics for a profile, which was then reviewed and entered into CODIS, the national database. Clement was followed on the stand by Detective Scott Long, who was the lead detective on Norrie's cold case in 2014. He reviewed the case and decided to put Compher under surveillance. When detectives tailing Compher saw him discard a cigarette butt onto a public road, they gathered that cigarette butt to see if his DNA matched the unidentified sample from the window. Long never confirmed on the stand whether or not that test did match Compher. In fact, other than the prosecution's opening statement and a fingerprint, we have not yet heard confirmation about Compher's DNA matching any evidence found at the crime scene. Other detectives and police officers talked about sending additional DNA samples from Compher, as well as Rio Wild and Robert Spillett, for testing. Again, we haven't heard those results. So far, the state has called around 27 witnesses, and they're expected to wrap up the prosecution side on Wednesday. Reporting in Bannock County, Misty Inglet, KPVI News that works for you.
And you can read the additional details from each day of the trial on our website at kpvi.com.